We have spent a good amount of time in Levi.
And a ton of time in Rovaniemi, so we want to compare and contrast the two to find out which one is best for you.
They're both amazing, but let's get into it now.
Let's start out with an overview of both places. First, Rovaniemi.
Oh, Rovaniemi. It's just a classic. When you think of Lapland, you think of Rovaniemi.
That's just like the main city. It's actually the capital city of Lapland, Finland. So of course, it's going to be the most well-known. There are a lot of things to do there. It's just a place where a lot of travelers go.
One of the main reasons a lot of people go to this city is because of Santa Claus Village. That is like the #1 tourist attraction. It is huge and beautiful, and there's tons of lights. We would definitely recommend going during Christmas time because it is so magical.
Santa Claus Village sits right on the Arctic Circle. That's what makes Rovaniemi so special and Santa Claus Village so special. You can cross off a major bucket list item just by being there or staying there.
Now, I will say, Rovaniemi does feel a little bit touristy. That doesn't mean we don't love it, but when we're going to talk about the next town of Levi, it does feel a little bit less touristy. So if you're not super into like tourist activities, Rovaniemi might be a little bit overwhelming for you. We kind of already talked about Levi a little bit, but it is just the cutest little ski town in Finland. I am obsessed with this place. Like, I love it so much.
When we were doing our initial research on this place, it felt like it was a little bit difficult to get some information because of how small it is. There aren't too many people going there. Of course, it is home to Finland's most popular ski resort, but it's in a very small town where hardly anybody lives compared to big cities like Rovaniemi. And so when we were doing the research, we were able to find out just enough to know that we wanted to go there, but we really had to actually take the trip to experience it.
And it really is like a ski town. Like, they have other activities that you can do there, but the main reason why you go here is to go cross-country skiing or downhill skiing.
It's technically a part of the bigger town, Katila. Katila has an airport too, but it is significantly, I would say, a lot less busy than the Rovaniemi one, just because the population's smaller, less people travel there, but of course that is a way for you to get to Levi.
You can, they do have flights from Helsinki to Katila though. So it's not too difficult, but definitely less flights than Helsinki to Rovaniemi.
But of course, that leads us into our next point of talking about how to get to each place.
Rovaniemi is easy. You just book a flight to Rovaniemi.
It is easy to find flights there. It didn't matter which country we were coming from. We knew that we could book a flight that went through Helsinki and then onto Rovaniemi. I know that certain flights you are able to go directly to Rovaniemi and you don't have to go through Helsinki, but I think that's the most common route.
You can also take the Santa Claus train from Helsinki. It takes about 12 hours. I mean, I personally think flying is the better option, but if you're into trains or you want to, it's an overnight train, so you really just sleep, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, it could have been a fun experience to test that out, but I think just flying just made a lot more sense. It's an hour flight to get from Helsinki. So, I mean, that just seems like such an easy flight. There's not going to be like any layovers. I mean, if you are having a layover, it will be in Helsinki. So it's just a straight shot, very easy, but the train could also be a fun experience.
And I don't think that the train is like any cheaper though. So like,
oh yeah, when I was looking it up.
It's pretty expensive actually, so. I don't know why you would take the train, but that is an option that if you feel passionate about trains, you can look into. Now, getting to Levi. One, you could fly into Rovaniemi and take a bus from Rovaniemi to Levi. This is actually what we did because we spent the first half of our trip in Rovaniemi and then took the bus to Levi. And it was super, super easy, convenient, cheap. So if you want to do both, that's a great option.
It was a little bit challenging at first just because we didn't really know the bus situation. We'd only taken a couple buses from Rovaniemi city center to Santa Claus Village and back. And so like we were still a little worried about how this was all going to go. We actually booked the bus through a company that has a name that I can't pronounce. Apparently you didn't even really have to go through that process. I think you could have just shown up to the bus station and then just paid for the bus as soon as you got there. And you have to find the sign that says that you're actually taking it to Levi. So that's how you get there from Rovaniemi, but you can also fly into Katila.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, they do have an airport. We really didn't do too much research into this because we knew we weren't going to do it, but
Right.
I guess you could do that if you wanted to.
But it's pretty simple. Like, I know that when we landed in Helsinki, I saw planes that were taking off to Katila. So I'm guessing it would be pretty easy to just fly into there and take a taxi to Levi, or maybe there's a bus too. So both of them are fairly easy to get to. Levi is a tiny bit more difficult, but still super, super easy.
And Levi has a ton of things that you might be interested in. So, of course, don't let the fact that it's slightly harder to get to deter you from going at all.
Now let's talk about the things to do in each of these places. They are pretty similar. They both have things like reindeer sleigh rides, huskies, sledding. So all of the like main winter activities that you go to Lapland for, they're both gonna have. The one thing that sets Levi apart from Rovaniemi is that Levi is a ski town. You go there to ski. There's really not any skiing in Rovaniemi. I think there's one ski resort, but it just has a little hill. Levi has a lot more skiing than Rovaniemi.
Jenny had never been skiing before this trip, and we heard that Levi was the perfect place to go for your very first time because they have enough beginner hills to where, you know, you won't get too stressed out or anxious when you're going down the hills. Mm-hmm. And they also have enough for intermediate and more advanced skiers as well.
I will say Jacob was a little bit bored because he has been skiing his entire life. He's used to like double black diamonds. So if you're as advanced as Jacob, I wouldn't go there specifically to ski. It's not like the most incredible mountain, you know, but it was the perfect place for me to learn how to ski and for Jacob to just leisurely ski along and enjoy the views.
And not only do they have downhill skiing, but they also have cross-country skiing as well. It is right near the big mountain, so you don't have to like book two different accommodations, like one for downhill skiing, one for cross-country skiing. I mean, you can just walk over to the other. And that was a lot of fun. We had never been cross-country skiing before.
It was a lot of fun. I really liked it. I think I might have liked it more than I liked downhill skiing. But the fog, there was so much fog when we were downhill skiing, so it was really hard to ski, which was very scary for me for my first time skiing. So I think fog is kind of normal there. So if you're scared of not being able to see.
It might also depend on the time of year that we went.
Yeah.
We went right at the beginning of the ski season, but maybe near the end there's not as much fog. But the cross-country skiing, I mean, I just can't get over it. Like, there are so many different tracks you can take. Like, at the very beginning, there's like 3 different places you can turn off.
Many.
And we only experienced one of them. So, I mean, we could have gone cross-country skiing like 3, 4, 5 days in a row and not got bored.
Now, obviously, Rovaniemi has Santa Claus Village, which is huge and amazing, and you should definitely go there at least once if you're going to Lapland. But Levi does have a very, very, very much smaller scale kind of Santa Claus Village called Elves Hideaway, which is, we didn't go, but it looks super cute and still gives you a little Christmas fix. But obviously Rovaniemi, that's like the main thing that you're going there for. Elves Hideaway does look super cute. You like go into the elves' houses and you watch them make the toys and stuff. So it would definitely be cute, especially if you have kids with you.
But one of the main things that was so exciting about our time there is that we saw the Northern Lights.
I thought we would have a better chance of seeing the Northern Lights in Levi because it is so far above the Arctic Circle, whereas Rovaniemi is just right on the Arctic Circle. Well, one of the nights we actually did drive up to Levi from Rovaniemi to see the Northern Lights.
We almost made it. We did go on a tour, and that was one of the best experiences we had in Lapland, Finland. We love the Northern Lights. We love finding them. And so yeah, we drove almost all the way up north to Levi to go see them. But we were able to see them just at Santa Claus Village right outside. Like, that was on a clear night.
I just stepped right outside. I was like, Jacob, I have a feeling like they might be out. I'm just gonna go check. And I walked outside and there they were. I could not believe it.
Yeah, and I think like one of the main reasons why we couldn't see them in Levi is because of the clouds, which makes sense why a ski resort would be somewhere with a lot of clouds and a lot of snow. So like, but that is one of the downsides. But Rovaniemi, I guess, can be clear sometimes.
Yeah, it just depends, honestly. Like, it's just the luck of the draw with the northern lights. Sometimes the KPs are super high, but then it's cloudy, so you can't see them. So I think they're both pretty equal for northern lights. Levi might just be a little bit better just because it is a little bit further north.
And of course, the further north you go, the better chance you are to see them.
Rovaniemi did have a lot more options for Northern Lights tours, though, which I think is pretty important because, like, sometimes you really do have to chase the lights. Like, it doesn't always work out where you just walk outside your cabin and you're like, oh, there they are. Like,
it almost never happens.
Yeah, you really gotta chase them. So Rovaniemi is good for that. Specifically, the company we went with, Wild About Lapland, they do it in small group tours and they just drive and drive and drive until you find the lights. One of the things you're probably wondering about is the glass igloos that you see all over Instagram, all over the internet. They both have glass igloo options. I think Rovaniemi might have a few more just because it's becoming so popular there, but Levi also does have a lot of glass roof, glass igloo options, so don't worry about that too much. They are very expensive no matter where you go, so it doesn't really matter.
Even though we've been saying a lot of times throughout this video that there are a lot of similar things to do in each place, this is why we think that there is a big difference.
Rovaniemi feels like not a big city, but it feels like a city. Levi is more of like a cozy ski town, like you want to sit and by a window and watch people skiing, drinking your hot chocolate. But Rovaniemi, you can walk around, there's city lights, I don't know, it's just, there's a big difference.
I was very, very surprised when we were in Levi and I walked around the main town and I'm like, oh, that's all there is.
Yeah.
Of course, like we have been getting comments that it's not just the little town, there's other things to do outside, but that's where you're gonna be spending most of your time. And in Rovaniemi, yeah, a lot bigger, a lot more to walk around, so it kind of just depends on your preferences.
And honestly, walking around in Levi is so easy. Like Jacob said, like there's restaurants and hotels and it's all kind of right in this little main center here, but Rovaniemi is a lot bigger. We had to take buses to get to different places in the city, so if you like just like being able to walk everywhere, I would definitely choose Levi over Rovaniemi.
And if you like your choice of grocery stores, your buses, anywhere you want to go, then Rovaniemi is for you.
Either way, I really don't think that you can go wrong with either place. My personal favorite was Levi because I like the small cozy town vibes more than the big city, but that is just me. We hope that this video has been helpful for you planning your trip to Lapland, Finland. It is a beautiful place and we hope that you enjoy it as much as we did. Thank you so much for watching and we will see you in the next one.